Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist. I'm technically doing an ABC Adventure Therion deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck with all three of these engines in one build. It's amazing how well all three of them work together to make this super fun deck that is extremely powerful. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come our notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like in your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of a Assault Core. This card is a key card in the deck to being able to summon out our boss monster, ABC Dragon Buster. Now, all of your ABC monsters actually share a common effect that once per turn, you can either target a light machine monster that you control and equip this card to the target, or unequip this card and special summon it, which is really cool of an effect to be able to share between your A, B, and C pieces. But this card's unique ability is that a monster equipped with this card is unaffected by your opponent's monster effects, which is a really powerful effect. Also, if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle by card effect, destroy this card instead, which is a really cool effect. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, then you can add one other union monster from your graveyard back to your hand, which is a pretty good effect for this card to have. We then play 3 copies of B Buster Drake. This card is a definite 3 of in the deck, and a key card in summoning out our boss monster. But this card is a super cool effect that a monster equipped with this card is unaffected by your opponent's spell effects. Also, if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle by card effect, you destroy this card instead. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, then you can add a union monster from your deck to your hand, which is a super powerful effect to be able to search out any of the union monsters that you need. We then play 3 copies of Sea Crush Wyvern. Sea Crush Wyvern is a definite 3 of in the deck that gives the monster equipped with this card protection from your opponent's trap cards, and also has the ability, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to special summon a union monster from your hand, which is great to be able to get one of your other ABC pieces on the field. We then play a single copy of Union Driver. Union Driver is just a 1 of in the deck that's really good at comboing with your ABC pieces. We then play 3 copies of Water Enchantress. Water Enchantress is a really good 3 of the deck just to get to our copy of Rite of Arameser, because if you control an adventure token, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can also banish this card from your hand or graveyard to add a Rite of Arameser from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a key play in the deck to get to our copy of Rite of Arameser so we can get an adventure token. We then play a single copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. This card is absolutely insane, and the reason I actually put this engine in the deck because this card is so good. Because during the main phase, if you control no monsters or if you control an adventure token, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and when a card or effect is activated while you control an adventure token, quick effect, you can shuffle this card back in the deck, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy the card. But this card is super easy to get to with your copies of Fateful Adventure, which is absolutely insane that you can basically get a negate every single turn with this card. We then play a single copy of The Knight. I really like this card as a 1 of in the deck, but I only feel like you need a single copy of this card. This card is a great card to be able to search off your copy of Fateful Adventure, but I feel like 1 is totally fine. We then play 2 copies of the Therion King Regulus. This card is really good, and it's a walking negate, and it's super easy to get to in this build. It has the ability that you can target a Therion monster or a machine monster in your graveyard, and special summon this card from your hand if you do equip that monster this card. And this card's negate effect is when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can send 1 Therion monster from your hand or face from field to the graveyard to negate that effect, which is a great effect for this card to have. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom just stops the opponent from touching the deck and is a definite 3 of in the build. You can also put DD Crows in here instead of this card, which is another option for you guys, or even Ghost Bells in the position of your copies of Ash Blossom, depending on what your matchup is, which is a really versatile slot. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is a really good 1 in the deck to get to our field spell that we really want in our hand. We then play a single copy of Foolish Burial. This card is very handy in this deck to be able to get the exact ABC piece in the graveyard that you need. We then play a single copy of Therion Discoliseum. This card is a really good 1 of that actually searches out our copy of King directly from our deck to our hand, which is why we're just playing a single copy of this card. It's essentially the 3rd copy of King, with the copy of Terraforming being the the 4th copy of it if we already have Union Hanger. We then play a single copy of Dracoback. Dracoback is searchable in the deck, which is why we're playing just a single copy of this card, but you can equip this card to a monster that you control, and you can only control 1 copy of this card, and you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. That when this card is equipped to a non-effect monster, which is usually going to be equipped to your adventure token, you can target 1 card that your opponent controls and return to the hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to target an adventure token that you control and equip this card to that target, being able to re-equip it to a copy of an adventure token, giving you a bounce every single turn, which is so good about this card. With Wandering Griffin Rider being a negate and this card being a bounce, you have a really powerful engine to go along with your ABC pieces. We then play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. Fateful Adventure is a really good one of the deck that essentially lets you get to your copy of your Wandering Griffin Rider. This card is extremely powerful in the deck and a definite 1-0, but you only really need a single copy of this card because you're usually only activating it once because it is a continuous spell card. But once per turn, the first time a monster that you control equipped with an equipped spell would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed, and you can only use the following effects of this card once per turn. During your main phase, you can add a monster that mentions an adventure token from your deck to your hand, and then send a card from your hand to the graveyard. And if a monster is normal or special summon, you can take an equipped spell that mentions an adventure token from your deck and either add it to your hand or equip it to an adventure token that you control, which usually you're just immediately equipping Dracoback to your adventure token while also searching out your copy of Griffin Rider. We then play 3 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is a definite 3-of in the deck and basically gives you your token because if you control no adventure token, you get to special summon an adventure token that's a fairy, earth, level 4, 2000 attack, and 2000 defense. Then, if you do not control a Fateful Adventure, you can place a Fateful Adventure from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone, but you cannot activate the effects of monsters on the field the turn you activate this effect except special summon monsters, essentially locking you out of the effects of your normal summon monsters, which is not that big of a deal because we're never activating the effects of our ABC monsters that we actually normal summon. We're just normal summoning into the field. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good in the deck to be able to dig into the deck to get the exact cards that we need, especially since the extra deck besides the ABC Dragon Buster is essentially just Toolbox. So this card is really good for consistency in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Unauthorized Reactivation. This card is a definite 3 on the deck that lets you target a machine monster you control and equip 1 appropriate machine union monster that from your hand or deck to that monster, but the union monster equipped cannot be special summoned this turn. Basically, it's kind of like a Rhoda for the deck that immediately puts one of your union monsters equipped to another union monster, which is really cool to be able to grab any of your pieces that you need. We then play 3 copies of Union Hanger. Union Hanger is what makes the entire deck work. Then when this card is activated, you get to add a Light Machine Union monster from your deck to your hand, which is any of your ABC pieces. It also has the ability once per turn. If a Light Machine Union monster is normal or special summoned to your field except during the damage step, then you can target one of those monsters and equip an appropriate Light Machine monster that's a Union monster with a different name from your deck to that monster, but the Union monster equipped cannot be special summoned this turn, which is totally fine because you're basically just digging into the deck to get the exact Union piece that you need. This card essentially gets you to 2 of the 3 pieces by just activating it and normal summoning the card that you search off this card's effect, which is absolutely insane to summon out ABC Dragon Buster. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is a definite 3 in the deck that basically just stops an opponent's monster effect, and if you set this card to your side of the field, it also locks down spell and trap card columns when you activate it. This card is a really good hand trap in the deck, and one of the best hand traps this format, which is why I'm playing this card as a 3 of. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of ABC Dragon Buster. ABC Dragon Buster is a definite 3 of the deck. It has an awesome fact that it takes an A, B, and C piece to summon out this card, and it must first be special summoned from your deck, extra deck, by banishing the above cards that you control and or from your graveyard, and you don't have to use polymerization. And once per turn, during either player's turn, you can discard a card and then target 1 card on the field and banish it, which is a great effect just to be able to get rid of an opponent's card. And during during your opponent's turn, you can tribute this card and then target 3 of your banished Light Machine Union monsters with different names and special summon them to your side of the field, and it is a quick effect, which is really cool about this card. We're then playing a single copy of Access Code. Access Code is just really good in this deck to be able to pop multiple cards on the field and help you go in for game, usually coming out at about 53, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa because it's super easy to put multiple monsters on the field to be able to make this card with multiple negates with this card effect, which is just absolutely insane. We then play a single copy of Unicorn. Unicorn's really nice in the deck to be able to spin cards during the opponent's turn, especially if you use IP Masquerade to make this card. We then play a single copy of Phoenix to pop spells and traps, and Cerberus to pop monsters. We then play a single copy of the Light Charmer because we are playing quite a lot of light monsters in this deck, so this card comes in extremely handy in the deck to help us link climb. We then play a single copy of Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget is really good in this deck to be able to use because during your main phase you can special summon a level 4 lower machine monster from your hand to a zone that this card points to, which is any of your ABC pieces. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena to be able to make Unicorn during the opponent's turn, a single copy of number 60 to either draw 2 and discard 1, special summon a monster from the graveyard, or double the attack of a monster, which this card helps us OTK the opponent, which is really good, or dig through the deck to be able to get the exact ABC piece that we're missing. We then play a single copy of Abyss Dweller to lock down the graveyard, 1 copy of Exciton Knight as a board wipe, and then for another board wipe we also play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is just really good overall in this deck for the XZ monsters that you're playing. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played ABC before, you definitely should give the deck a try, especially with the Adventure package and the Therion monster. It's just really fun, and it's really insane how powerful this deck can be and how simple the plays can actually be when you play this deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.